Hi everyone, welcome to yet another video from your Which Tutoring team. Yes, your tutor for today is Whitney. Today, we will be taking a dive. All right, let me just hold it off a bit. Not telling you what we're looking at yet, although you probably know from the title of the video. Okay, before we get into it though, how about if you're not already subscribing to our channel, just hit that subscribe button, please. Thank you. Head on over to our Instagram page at Which Tutoring. And leave a follow. Leave some likes over there. Leave some likes over here on YouTube as well. Here displayed on the screen, we have our contact information. Reach out to us. This is where we make it happen. Your academic performance will improve. Definitely. Once you do your part, definitely. Don't worry, your tutors are going to do their part. Don't worry. As our motto says, aplicar el conocimiento, producir resultados. Here we apply knowledge, we produce results. That's what we do. All right. So let's go. The contact information will also be posted in the video description. So reach out. Don't fail because of inadequate assistance or something like that. Come on, like, we're here to help. Sign up today. Let's get into it. Before we do, hit that subscribe button, please. Thank you. All right, so yes, we'll be looking at some CSEC mathematics today. I'm pretty sure the title of the video would say that. But let's get right into it. We're looking specifically at a past paper question. It's January 2008, and it deals with the Pythagoras Theorem. A simple question. Hope you can see it clearly. The question wasn't so as clear as I would have liked it, but I realized that it can still be seen. So that's good. So let's go. The lengths in centimeters, right, of the sides of the triangle, the right angle triangle shown below are A minus 7, and A plus 1. So these are the lengths of the triangle. See it here, let's identify them on the graph. I always say, whenever you're dealing with STEM parts of the question, go down in the diagram where them have identified for yourself, because not all the time they fill them in, right? So here we have A down here, so as the base, A minus 7 is the height, and A plus 1 is what? What is this called? Everyone's supposed to know this. We're looking at Pythagoras' theorem, a right angle triangle. What is this side? What's the longest side? What is side over here name in a right angle triangle? The hypotenuse, right? Hypotenuse. This is the abbreviated form of it, right? So part 1 is asking us to use the Pythagoras theorem and write an equation in terms of A to represent the relationship among the three sides. What this is simply saying, I don't know too hard. It just asks you, say, using the formula, the general formula of the Pythagoras theorem, write out this equation for this specific triangle, the specific right angle triangle, based on the specific sides right here. They're not numbers. We realize they'll be later them, right? They're algebraic expressions. And not just one number thrown on like so 1 and 7 and 2, where you can easy match up. No, that's the trick about this question. It requires some thinking and application of math skills, not just a Pythagoras theorem right here, but you need some really more additional math skills where you're supposed to have. All right, here goes. First thing you need to ask yourself, what is the general form, right? Let's write the general form of the Pythagoras theorem, which we know is equal to A squared plus B squared. Hello, do not criticize my writing. Thank you. It's doing the job, and that's what it's supposed to do. I'm using a touchpad, so yeah, is equal to C squared. Or, we can write it by saying it's the same thing. C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared, right? So this is the general form of our Pythagoras theorem, and this is what we'll be using for part 1 of the question. I'm just going to write the solution over here. So that's that is how we're going to do part 1. So this is a specific thing now, using the the specific sides that we were given. So let's start it. Let's call this side, all right, let me clear up some of the screen here. Clear some of this here. I'm not like clutter. It kind of take away from focus. It's like distraction sometimes. So let's call this side A. Actually, let's have it the other way around on my solution set. So let me just call it the other way around, so I'm not confuse myself. So this is, let's call this side A, ironically. This side B, and then call this one over here the side C. So let's go work at the solution now. So we have A squared plus A minus 7 squared. Listen, it's A minus 7 all squared. Listen to me. It's a bracket, always a bracket of power. You realize that A minus 7 in a bracket, you write in this. Let me take a little stab over here. So first, little break. A minus 7 squared is not the same thing as A minus 7 bracket all squared. Them are not the same thing, because this first one up here is going to give you A minus 49 when I work it out. And this going to give you an entirely different answer. So listen to me. It's very important that you know your basic mathematical skills and things. Cool? Mathematical concepts are very important. So let's continue. Is equal to A plus 1 all squared. Bracket have power. And as long as you're following, you'll understand what I'm writing. So you know about math and writing, just follow the thing. Now that I does much marks that gone. See there, part 1 done, 2 marks just like that. Cool. Yeah, we that. All right. Part 2 now is asking us for, well, to solve the equation for A. So we're going to solve this equation that we have and find the value of A. What is A? What's the variable A? Let's solve it. So first thing we need to do, we need to extend these 2 brackets over here. So, and they can use the easy perfect square way, but we're going to do a long way for everybody benefits. So for bracket A squared plus, all right, so I'm just put one little, maybe just get a different color here so 2 as well, so they can see the difference how I made it do. Let's put this now on something like this bracket. We're going to extend this, right? So A minus 7 all squared is the same thing as saying A, minus 7 multiplied by A minus 7, right? It's multiplying by itself. Cool. That's what that means right there. So I'm gonna break things down in a little bit of steps. And then now let me switch back to my blue ink. Equals, that's my equal sign. Go back to my purple ink. A plus 1 all squared is the same thing as saying A plus 1 multiplied by A plus 1. So you're multiplying it by itself because everything is squared. So that's basic math right there. So, all right, let's continue. I mean, sometimes I write better, but today's not one of those days. I mean, you can ask the students and you can sign up this for yourself. Anyways, let's go. So there's A squared plus, let's extend this bracket right here. So let me switch to the purple ink so we can do some like a color coding. If you have A minus 7 multiplied by A minus 7, how do we extend these brackets, right? So A times A, that's A squared. Then I'm going to take this A multiplied by the minus 7, that's going to be minus 7A. Okay, my minus sign big. Take this minus 7 multiplied by this A, get minus 7A. And then minus 7 times minus 7 is equal to a positive 49. Cool. So that's a that, right? So switch me. All right, I'm not switching ink right so to time it. And then same thing for right here. Extend this bracket right here, so you'll end up with A squared, because A times A is A squared. Then it's A times 1, that is gonna be A plus A. Then I go 1 times A, that's A again, and 1 times 1, that is just plain 1. It's enough A on the screen. No worry, we'll work them out. We're gonna work out all of them. So let's see how best we can simplify some things right here. So let's continue. So we have A squared plus A squared. Bear with me, I'm not add them yet. Let's simplify right here. Minus 7A minus 7A, that's going to give a minus 14A, right? bracket plus 49. And all that is equal to a squared. A plus a, that's going to give it 2a, because remember there's an invisible 1 right here. So 1a plus 1a give it 2a plus 1. All right, that is that. Right? So let us group some like terms. Let's put all the a's to the left side. Over here, so name left. For those who don't know the left and them right, yes, I'm in it. Talk. All I a them. So let's group them up. A squared plus a squared, as myself, just follow. Here we get the handwriting. Keep your minus. Well, let me just grab over. This look better. So let's carry over this a squared. So it become a minus a squared because it cross the equal sign. Remember, so every match will count. Minus 14a. Keep him over the side when we are the pan. Carry over the plus 2a. Cross the equal sign and now become minus 2a. Cool. With an equal sign now, but the one that was already over there as the constant. Then bring over this plus 49 as a constant, it'll now become a minus 49. Although I could line up everything to the left and equate to 0. We're going to do that later, but I like to do things step by step. Let's go. So if you have a squared plus a squared minus a squared, first of all, a squared minus a squared, so that go and cancel that. So you're left with a squared, right? So alone. So that's a squared. So minus 14a minus 2a. Much that? That's gonna be minus 16a. Cool? No, if you do your when you add up with negatives and something there, that's important. And that's gonna be equal to what we call 1 minus 49 is gonna give us negative 48. Now we are trying to solve for a. We realize by looking at this, we can just write it in quadratic form. And to do that, all we're gonna do is just take over this minus 48, bring it over to the left-hand side and equate the entire equation to 0. So we'll now end up with a squared minus 16a, which is equal to, remember it was a minus 48 across the equal sign, sorry, not equal, it becomes a plus 48, sorry. Minus 16a plus 48. So it now become a plus 48. And equate all of that to 0 because the 0 would have left over there. So cool. This look like something familiar. This look like something you know. It should be. At this stage, it should be something that you know about. It's quadratic equation, and we can solve that with 3 different methods. Yeah, we can use, well, at your level, CSEC level, you're gonna learn the factor method, the quadratic formula method, and what's that name? I don't like that one. It's on the tip of my tongue. Oh my god, I forget this one. I've never liked that one, to be very honest. Completing the square method or something like that. That's a name? Yeah, something like that. Anyways, I don't use it. Anyways, but yeah, I have to know it. I had to know it at one point, so I do know it. I just choose not to use it. So let's go. Let's solve this. I'm gonna just solve this the easy way. You can take the long route, but I'm gonna solve it the easy way. So we need to find 2 factors of 48 that when you add them, you get back negative 16. And when you multiply them, you get back a positive 48. So this requires you to know some maths. So the quick maths brain them, we'll look it up and math it up and say, oh, easy peasy, those factors are 12 and 4. But be careful, it's not just 12 and 4, it's negative 12 and negative 4. Right? So these are the factors we'll be using. Negative 12, and write them over the corner over here, so, and negative 4. Because if you should say negative 12 plus negative 4, you know, say, the sign going to change so you become a negative, so that's negative 12 minus 4, which going to give a negative 16. And if I say negative 12 times negative 4, negative times negative give a positive, that's a positive 48. So you put your a with variable a, or a term, sorry, not a term. Put the a here, so minus, use a factor. Which factor would I use? 12 and you close bracket, and you put back a, because it was, remember I did a squared. So I did a times a. So 1a go here, so 1a go there, sum, minus, you put your next factor, which is 4. This is the easy way. Yes, this is the easy 1, 2 way, is equal to 0. Or you can take the long route, you know. Let me try see if we can jump quickly, you know, look a piece of the long route, just quickly. Right here, so the long routes, not green over here, so you will say a squared. So you're gonna substitute this the b term for the factors. The 16, negative 16 is the b term. So you're gonna be like a squared minus 12a minus 4a plus 48 is equal to 0. And the rest of this should look familiar. If not, you really need to start some work on that math. And then, you know, you take them. I cannot find my cursor. Okay, you take them and you basically factor out based on brackets. So find what's common. In the first one, that's a into a squared goes a times a into negative 12a minus 12. And then a minus sign. What's common here? So 4 into a, 4a, give it a. And then because there was a negative, it's a negative 4 into positive 48. It's a negative 12. See them? And then I just take them here, the outside ones, and put them in a bracket by themselves, and keep the inside ones in a bracket by themselves. That'll be a minus 4. And then you'd have a minus 12. It's the same thing. You know, when I said the same thing, I just equate it to 0. Equate it to 0. And that's it. Now let's solve. So we're not finished. We need to solve for a. That's what the question asked us to do, to solve for a. So this is saying that a minus, let me use a different ink. A minus 12 is equal to 0, or a minus 4 is equal to 0. Which one will we be using though? When we reach a part 3, I'm going to highlight that for you. A minus 12 is equal to 0. Also say, or a minus 4 is equal to 0. This is an easy 1-2 maths. All you're going to do is just bring over the 12 on the next side. It was negative, you cross the equal sign, it become a positive 12. So a is equal to 12. Same thing I do for the 4. For the next one, or a is equal to 4. Just bring over the 4 and become a plus. So this is solving for a, because it was quadratic. See, there we get the 2 answer them right here. So a is equal to 12, or a is equal to 4. All right, the next part of the question asked us to now state the lengths of the 3 sides of the triangle. So writing the lengths them, how are we going to determine the lengths? By using them here. Remember I said them here. Remember I said a was equal to a. So this side, the base of the triangle, is either equal to 12 or 4. How we know which one to put on though? If we put on anyone, we're going to get it right? Not necessarily. Let me walk you through that part right there. So we know that right here was a. The other one was a minus 7. So the height was a minus 7. A minus 7. I'm on 7 that guys. Jesus, bear with me. And the hypotenuse was a plus 1, right? So let us work out each of them individually. Using a is equal to 12. Work it out. So using a is equal to 12. Let's work out the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse would therefore be 12, so that we're just substituting 12 plus 1, which is going to be equal to 13. The height over here, which was a minus 7, would now be 12 minus 7, which is going to be equal to 5. And the a term on the bottom would just be a, would just be 12, right? So a would just be equal to 12. See, good. Using a is equal to 4 now, let's use that one and we're going to realize where something go wrong. Using a is equal to 4. Find the hypotenuse, which is a plus 1. So you're just substituting 4 for a, wherever you say a, you put 4. So that'll be 4 plus 1, which is going to be equal to 5. Using the base, a minus 7. So that would be 4 minus 7, which is equal to -3, and you know, say the base would have just before because a is equal to 4. Look at where the red flag is, right here. So this -3. How you gonna have a side of a triangle and it is negative? It's a negative number. That not quite add up to the maths, right? So you couldn't just say, oh, I get 2 answers, I can't use anyone and get the marks. No, because right here, so if I get a negative, the side of a triangle is negative, that just don't sound right. So it cannot be this. So you cannot use a is equal to 4. So a must be equal to 12. And this is where now we're going to substitute where the hypotenuse, which is the longest side in a right angle triangle, and it is directly opposite from the right angle. See there, directly opposite from the right angle, is going to be 13. So we're labeling the triangle. The a down the bottom would be 12. And the a minus 7 right here, so would have be 5. And if you want to go through the extra trouble of using the Pythagoras theorem, a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, using the real figures, if you just check and verify if it is correct, that's totally up to you. Anyways, I hope this was a little, informative, gave you some insights on your areas that you probably need to brush up on, because this looked at Pythagoras theorem. It looked at using them something here. What is name? Perfect square. Even quadratic came out in this. So you can definitely identify some areas you may need to brush up on. Alrighty. So that was it for today's video. Don't forget to just sign up for your tutoring journey to improve that academic performance. I mean, like, we're almost in April. I mean, like, April is Friday. Wow, crazy, right? Yes, and exams start May. So yeah, realize you don't have much time. So just contact us. You need assistance, contact us. Our contact information is on the screen. It will be posted in the description. And just check out our social media platforms. Your tutor for today was Whitney, and it was great having you, although you cannot see me or interact directly with me, but yes. All right, so until next time, bye-bye.